From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
President Donald Trump calls for freedom of religion and threatens to strip funding from public universities. We'll have the latest from Washington.
And as Trump promises to get rid of gun-free zones in schools, an Arizona bill proposes concealed carry in public buildings.
Plus, a heroin delivery service that operates like ordering a pizza. We've got a look at opioid addiction in Ventura County, California.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Adriana de Alba.
And I'm Danielle Kernkamp. Thank you for joining us.
President Donald Trump is determined to prioritize freedom of religion by repealing the Johnson Amendment, which prohibits tax-exempt organizations like religious groups from endorsing or opposing political candidates. He promised the National Prayer Breakfast in D.C. today that he will, quote, totally destroy the amendment.
I will get rid of and totally destroy the Johnson Amendment and allow our representatives of faith to speak freely and without fear of retribution. I will do that, remember.
Trump thanked Americans for their prayers as he begins his administration, saying they've been a constant source of strength.
Arizona Congressman Trent Franks joined several Republican lawmakers in Washington today to renew calls to defund Planned Parenthood, arguing that the organization has an abortion-first mentality. Cronkite News reporter Zi Zheng brings us details from Washington.
And I hope that the sands of time blow over that Capitol dome before we ever give one more dime of taxpayer dollars to this insidious, deceptive, evil enterprise.
Franks was one of 6 Republican House members who met at the Capitol to say the time has finally come to eliminate federal funding of Planned Parenthood today. The event is organized by Life Action, an organization whose mission is to end abortion in the U.S. The group said it went to close to 100 Planned Parenthood clinics seeking prenatal care and was turned away at most. That's why it organized the rally demanding a stop to tax funding for Planned Parenthood, which it said got more than $500 million in 2013. Life Action founder Lila Rose said the money could be better spent.
It's one of the biggest shams that exists today. I believe it is the biggest sham that exists today in American politics, in the lobbying market, to try to parade themselves as an essential women's health provider when there are 13,000 federally qualified health centers that provide more comprehensive care, that are not focused on abortion, that are far more worthy to receive those taxpayer dollars than Planned Parenthood.
We talked to Planned Parenthood officials in Arizona by phone today. They said Live Action was doctored to damage the reputation of Planned Parenthood and that they expected it would be debunked like the other recent undercover investigations. In Washington, D.C., Zi Zheng, Cronkite News.
President Trump has been vocal that he is against an Obama administration deal with Australia that allows refugees, mostly Muslim, to come to the U.S. after being rejected by Australia. Arizona Senator John McCain disagrees with how Trump is handling the situation and promised his unwavering support for the current alliance with the country.
And this, in my view, was an unnecessary and frankly harmful open dispute over an issue which is not nearly important as United States-Australian cooperation.
The GOP is taking matters into their own hands again after Democratic senators continue to boycott cabinet hearings. Republicans have decided to rewrite committee rules that required at least one Democrat to be present before the committee could vote. With this rule out of the way, the Environment and Public Works Committee could unanimously approve General Scott Pruitt for the Environmental Protection Agency earlier today. He still needs full Senate approval before the position becomes official.
Protests over an alt-right speaker at University of California's Berkeley campus turned violent last night, prompting campus police to cancel the event and lock down the campus. But the chaos did not go unnoticed by President Trump. Trump tweeted early this morning saying, quote, if UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, no federal funds. There has been no comment from the White House on whether Trump plans to actually pull any funding.
The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to roll back an Obama rule on background checks for gun ownership. And here in Arizona, a state Senate committee advanced a proposal that could soon bring concealed carry guns into public places. Unless a public building has airport-style security at their entrance, they would have to allow people with permits to carry their guns. High schools and universities, the Maricopa Medical Center, courtrooms, and other federal buildings are exempt from the bill.
Senators Jeff Flake and John McCain are teaming up with Governor Doug Ducey in a push to move Arizona out of the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals and into the 12th Circuit. The hope is that getting out of the 9th Circuit will reduce appeal wait times, which currently take around 15 months.
Our Cronkite News investigation, Hooked RX from Prescription to Addiction, chronicled the opioid epidemic in Arizona. But of course, this isn't the only state struggling to contain the growing problem. Jolani Martinez of our Los Angeles bureau traveled to Ventura County, California, where dealers are getting more creative and overdoses are on the rise.
On September 9th, Stephanie Young lost her only child to a heroin overdose.
He had been sober, and he had got it from someone that he used to get it from, and his body had been clean, and he had overdosed. The person left him, was with him when it happened.
In 2016, the picture has changed completely. It is anyone and everyone can become addicted to heroin because it doesn't start with heroin.
Richard LaPerriere works with people who suffer from drug and alcohol abuse in Ventura County and says heroin users make up 20% of the population they treat.
The passage from X to heroin is the passage through a prescribed medication that contains opioids or opiates.
Zachary's overdose death and 2 more that quickly followed prompted increased attention from police, which took down a heroin delivery service that was operating the same way you might order a pizza.
So in this one, we received information that there was actually a dispatch center. And this dispatch center was that if you wanted narcotics, specifically heroin, methamphetamine, or cocaine, you could call this phone number.
Once an order was submitted, a runner would be sent to a desired location and make the sale. Police confiscated heroin that was packed in colored water balloons, each color representing a certain gram. But police aren't the only ones in Ventura County taking more aggressive action to stop opioid abuse. Last week, the Heroin Task Force met right here at Simi Valley City Hall to discuss plans in combating the epidemic. The Community Prevention Group was formed in 2012 after grieving parents like Melissa Siebers seeked change within their communities.
We were all like, we have to do something like this. There's a problem going on here, and if we can get the city to come together, maybe we can come up with some ideas and make a difference.
Ideas like a needle exchange program and after-school activities.
But what we really need to do is to inform the kids from age 8th grade on up. All the kids need to know, age appropriate, like, look, this is what's going on. You need to make better choices.
Choices that might have saved Zachary Young.
He was my only child. And so him and I were extremely, extremely close. It's just hard. Every day is a struggle.
In Ventura County, Jolani Martinez, Cronkite News.
You can watch our documentary Hooked RX from Prescription to Addiction, investigating the opioid epidemic at hookedrx.com. People often spend hundreds of dollars on beauty products to look their best.
But what about going under the knife instead of filling in your eyebrows? Coming up on Cronkite News, a new procedure for perfect eyebrows. But is it safe?
Plus, only 2 states in the country have raised the legal smoking age to 21. Will Arizona be next?
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule.
where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Watch us online.
The city of Phoenix broke ground on a new treatment plant today at the Tres Rios wetlands with the hope to make the goal of most sustainable desert a reality. Ameresco will design, build, own, and operate the largest water treatment plant in Arizona. It's expected to be the largest of its kind in the nation and hopes to bring in $2.1 million for the city of Phoenix from the gas generated at the plant. Its main goal, reduce the need for energy from traditional power plants fueled by fossil fuels.
We reuse all of the reclaimed water either for the constructed wetlands. We provide a lot of water to the Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station for their cooling. And we also send water for irrigation of crops to the Buckeye Irrigation Districts.
The push to raise the minimum age for tobacco sales to 21 is gaining traction across the nation. So far, California and Hawaii are the only states to have approved of legislation change. But this morning, the Arizona House of Representatives heard the bill, and lobbyists include the very age group the bill aims to restrict.
95% of people who start before they're 21 get addicted, but after that, your chance decreases 95%. And then at 25, your chance of getting addicted is 99% less. So really, as long as you wait for your brain to develop and for you to really get those life skills that you need, you won't get addicted.
The Yavapai Anti-Tobacco Coalition of Youth, or YATSE, has already successfully changed their own city's ordinance. In partnering with the American Heart Association, they hope to see the state of Arizona follow suit.
You might have seen posts on social media about microblading. Many women are getting the procedure done to make their eyebrows look fuller. Reporter Janie Hoyt tells us more about the procedure and how to keep yourself safe.
Many say that the eyebrows are the frame of the face. More and more people want to achieve perfect eyebrows, so they're going under the needle.
Generally, microblading is small incisions into the skin, implanting pigment under the skin in the upper dermal layer. It's a really soft way of doing your eyebrows versus the former tattooing your eyebrows.
Client Erin Cook says the pain of microblading is minimal and it pays off.
So there's not a lot of pain, but it feels like someone's scraping your skin. I really, really like it. No regrets. Absolutely would do it again.
The process involves this tool that makes small simultaneous cuts to the skin, making hair-like incisions in the eyebrows. Once the procedure is over, Lavoie recommends keeping antibacterial ointment on the eyebrows for a few days to keep out any moisture and bacteria.
Going under the needle does come with risks, especially because microblading is not regulated in the state of Arizona.
I think that's a matter of maybe the regulatory board not having caught up with the popularity of it yet.
The Arizona State Board of Cosmetology requires anyone who performs microblading to post a sign saying that they do not regulate the procedure.
It's getting really popular, and with that comes a lot of fraud. There are a lot of people who can just go on Amazon, buy some needles, buy some pigment, and start doing it.
Lavoie advises clients to make sure their technician is qualified before getting the procedure done. In Phoenix, Janie Hoyt, Cronkite News.
Though it's not required, Lavoie recommends that estheticians take permanent makeup courses and blood-borne pathogen training before performing microblading on someone to lower the risk of infection.
Imagine walking into a classroom with nowhere to sit.
I thought, did the teacher forget to put the chairs back in?
How one of Ben Franklin's inventions is helping students in Tucson succeed.
And Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow this morning, which means 6 more weeks of winter. But here in the valley, our weather's warming up. I'll show you the temps you can expect this weekend.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Hallelujah, let that bassline move us. Yeah, it's good to be alive right about now. I think I finally found my. Right about now.
The standing school desk was first patented by Benjamin Franklin. Now 200 years later, a Tucson school is giving them a try. Reporter Ivory Reiner traveled there to see how students are liking them.
You don't have any seats, you just stand.
Mackenzie Brown is in Tiffany Wiley's second grade class and loves her new stand-up desk because it prevents her from falling asleep in class.
When you're standing, you're basically not like laying back. And when you're in chairs, you're kind of laying back.
I haven't seen the head on the desk, you know, kind of, I'm so tired.
Miss Wiley, who teaches at Manzanita Elementary School in Tucson, didn't know what to expect with the stand-up desks in her classroom.
The first day I surveyed all the students, and 6 of them were either lukewarm or negative to the idea. They didn't like it the first day. And then I just surveyed them again yesterday after 3 weeks of going through it, and only 1 of them said they didn't like it.
Dr. Mark E. Benden at Texas A&M University found that stand-up desks improve mental health and weight management. He said that students who use the desks have an increase in energy and a decrease in bad behavior. He found that after 2 years of using stand-up desks, students' body mass indexes decreased by more than 5%, and students who use stand-up desk burn 15 to 25% more calories than people who use seated desks. I've had the stand-up desk now for 3 weeks at Manzanita Elementary School. Principal Kim Bowling says she's considering putting more desks in the other classrooms.
Kids today are much more sedentary than they have been in the past, in large part perhaps due to the devices that they have, and we know that kids learn best when they are oxygenating their brains.
Wiley said she's waiting to find a downfall with the stand-up desks, but as of right now, she would recommend them to other teachers. In Tucson, Ivory Reiner, Cronkite News.
The stand-up desks aren't expensive. $40 was all it took to transform the classroom.
Arizona House Bill 2082, which would give elementary school kids an unstructured 50-minute recess, is now being moved to the full House after being passed by the Education Committee this week. Representative Jesus Rubalcaba says after being a teacher for 9 years, he understands the need for this. Not only does he see the teachers' benefit of this break, but he too was an energetic student.
I had that, need to be able to move, and so when I would go out to recess and run around and do that, when I would come back, it was like a whole, I was a little more calm.
Out of the Education Committee.
You've heard of food banks, but what about one with a drive-through? I visited a Tolleson Elementary School to see how a mobile food bank works. Kaylor Miller doesn't spend his Saturday mornings the same way as a lot of other 19-year-olds. He's out at P.H. Gonzalez Elementary School at 6:30 a.m., loading up cars with food.
We try to find projects like this because people really do need that help. They really do.
The donations come from St. Mary's Food Bank, and with the help of volunteers, more than 300 families get loaded up with watermelon, orange juice, bread, chips, and more.
We want to make them healthy and strong so they could grow and be good citizens.
Laura Alvarez is the director of the event and says that she started the food bank to honor the school's cafeteria lady Stella Robles, who passed away from cancer last year.
Her name could keep on going and serving the community of Tolleson and the Phoenix area.
The mobile food bank takes place twice a month at P.H. Gonzalez Elementary School, and the cars start lining up before 7 a.m.
We're just so grateful that everybody's willing to come out and help us, and it's just so nice.
I like seeing people smile. I like when they come up and they see everybody helping and they smile.
Alvarez says she has anywhere from 25 to 40 volunteers each time, and they're all different ages.
It's seeing them happy. It's seeing them like they have hope for another day.
The next mobile food bank will take place on Saturday, February 11th. Let's take a look at temperatures across the state now. They're a little bit warmer than this time last week. So we have 75 in Yuma, 73 in Havasu, and we're still in those low 40s up in northern Arizona. But taking a deeper dive into the valley, we're all across the board, low 70s, a little bit of the 60s in there as well. So we're at 70 in Scottsdale, 71 in Buckeye, and 74 in Goodyear. But over the next 24 hours, we are going to dip into some cooler temperatures. So tonight, as you're driving home, we're going to be hitting those mid 60s, even in the 50s a little bit. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be in those high 40s, low 50s, so it is going to be pretty chilly, so grab a jacket when you head out to work tomorrow. But by tomorrow afternoon, you will not need that jacket anymore because we're going to be back in those low 70s. But take a look at this. On Saturday, we are at completely clear skies, 77 degrees, and then at Sunday, we're at 78, so for game time, you can be barbecuing outside. It's going to be perfect temperature for that. But then take a look at this. On Wednesday and Thursday, we are at 80 degrees and 84 on Thursday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Danielle. The Waste Management Phoenix Open is seeing more alcohol-related arrests each year. Reporter Allison Gargaro took a trip to Scottsdale to learn why the numbers are rising.
The Waste Management Phoenix Open grows bigger every year. In 2016, there were 644,000 people that attended the Open over the course of the week.
It's crazy. It's like a college football game, you know, for a golf tournament. It's awesome.
Out of these attendees last year, 182 were arrested on alcohol-related charges. That number does not include the DUIs that were made on the roads. More police bike teams from Scottsdale, Tempe, Chandler, and Apache Junction are on duty this week to intercept party buses to inform potential underage drinkers of the consequences. The Scottsdale Police Department started a Know Your Own Limit program, which lets people test themselves before driving home.
Between 2 and 6 in the afternoon, we set up tents outside of the main exit, and we'll have free breathalyzer tests to anybody that's passing by. So it's an educational piece for folks that have drank during the event. As they're leaving, if they think they possibly could drive, they can get a PBT and they can realize, well, you know what, I thought I was under the limit. Actually, I'm over the limit.
Last year, of the 9,000 people who voluntarily took a breathalyzer outside of the event, 4,000 were found to be over the limit. In Scottsdale, Allison Gargaro, Cronkite News.
A community project along the border is coming to an end.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we travel to Naco, Sonora, where some school kids are saying goodbye to a beloved mural.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
A border fence in Naco, Sonora is being torn down and replaced with a new barrier. Children in Mexico painted a mural on a mile-long section of that fence. I visited the mural as the kids took a final look at their artwork before construction crews demolish it.
Children at the border fence call out to Border Patrol agents.
¿Quieres ser mi amigo?
He's asking, "Do you want to be my friend?" The kids have come to celebrate their colorful mural one last time. They've been painting these images on the fence for 6 years now with the help of a Bisbee-based artist who began the Border Bedazzlers project.
This is a way to take something that has a lot of kind of negativity and turn it into something positive. So we are able to, through the kids, take a wall that separates people and actually bring people together.
The 1 mile mural has attracted artists from both sides of the border and other parts of the world. Naco Museum Director Maria Elena Rodriguez first came up with the idea to encourage border kids to express themselves through art.
It's showing them that although there's a geographical barrier dividing two countries, we as
because people are not divided.
Construction crews have already begun loading materials into this area, so this 7.5-mile fence could be taken down any day now. It'll be replaced by an 18-foot fence.
The new fence is not part of President Trump's proposed border wall. Plans for an upgrade have been in the works for 4 years now. The teardown is a new beginning for the Border Bedazzlers. An art studio for the kids of Naco just opened.
Because there's art, culture, and we get to paint every Tuesday.
And this Bisbee-based artist will be back every week to continue the artwork inspired by the border fence.
I just think that they need to know that they're important and that we see them, and that they should never feel anything but like the greatest kids in the world.
According to the Border Patrol, the new fence will be safer and more efficient because agents will be able to see what's happening on the other side in Mexico.
On the next Arizona Horizon, it's Phoenix Open Week, where we get to know Golf Channel analyst, best-selling author, and Scottsdale resident Brandel Chambly. A special In Focus edition on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, how economics affects the mandate to buy health insurance. That's Thursday on the PBS News Hour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. And for top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.